evening, everybody, and welcome to this special, what's today? Thursday edition of the BURKE Brigade, brought to you by the Liberty Daily.
Yes?
Liberty...
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Good night. You're fired!
Sorry, I was zoning.
Good Lord. Are you ready?
I was waiting for you to say, I'm Matthew Burke, and I was going to say, I'm Jennifer.
That's not the order. We don't have stuff written down. We kind of wing it here. But that's what makes us like reality conservative talk radio.
Please don't say that.
I'm Matthew Burke.
And I'm Jennifer Burke.
And we're the BURKE Brigade. We're going to try that again. Brought to you by the Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Go to thelibertydaily.com, thelibertydaily.com, where today there will be another new record in traffic.
Woohoo!
We were getting a ton of hits on the Liberty Daily. People that are ticked off at the Drudge Report and are going on conservative websites like Free Republic, which is a great website, Free Republic, and complaining about Drudge. And people were getting on there unsolicited and said, I haven't been to Drudge in months. Go to thelibertydaily.com. Thelibertydaily.com. And the latest complaint is that he's turned into a Roy Moore basher.
Yes, he has.
Like every negative article he can find, according to this thread. We don't go there. I go there maybe once a month. I don't want to be conflicted at all. And the Liberty Daily kind of has the look and feel of Drudge, even though the content is almost entirely different. There's very, very little crossover. It's a news aggregator. So you can go there to get all your news. I mean, if you're a conservative, if you're a Christian, if you're a constitutionalist, you're going to love it. If you're an America-hating communist, like the Democrat Party, you're not going to like it at all. Okay, you're gonna hate it very much. You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate Jennifer, and you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. So get the hell off.
But you can't hate me because I'm black, and according to Eric Holder, that would be racist.
That would be racist. You would be a dirty racist if you hate my wife.
Really, the only ones that hate me are the white and black liberals who think they can dictate what I'm supposed to believe because I am black.
And now, if you hate me, I have been told by my family, by my pawpaw who had large cheekbones, that I have more Cherokee Indian in me than Elizabeth Warren. So you might be a racist if you hate me too. But that's another topic. Okay, today is a great day in America. Why? Because another progressive pervert, a progressive predator, a pervert has been outed. Progressive predator Al Franken, formerly a Saturday Night Live host, played Stuart Smalley, this homosexual-like character on there. He was absolutely a freak.
And still is a freak.
And still is a freak. And he was not only accused today. Now, this is a little bit different than Judge Roy Moore. This isn't some doctored up, forged, the only smoking gun they have is this doctored up, in Roy Moore's case, yearbook. This forged yearbook from, I believe it's 1977. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm 56. In 1977, I was 16. That's how long ago this was. It was 40 years ago. But nevertheless, we're gonna hit on this later because Gloria Allred, folks, she is in some hot water over this. And if I was Roy Moore, which I'm not, unfortunately, I would be suing her pants off.
Not literally.
No, I do not want to see that. That would be for somebody like Al Franken. In fact, I'm downloading her little video right here.
Ray doesn't like Gloria already either.
No, he doesn't like her. Why? Okay, so Leanne Tweeden. She is a longtime sports journalist She's a news anchor right now in L.A. on KABC, Talk Radio 790. It's one of the big ones. And she tweeted early this morning, I wrote about it on thepolitistic.com, progressive leftist Al Franken, a 2020 Democrat presidential hopeful, is being accused of forcibly kissing and groping KABC Talk Radio 790 news anchor Leanne Tweeden, including grabbing her breast while she was sleeping.
And having someone take a picture of himself looking like a disgusting lech, smiling for the camera while doing it.
Who reportedly was his brother, the photographer. Now, this is not a he said, she said, as in the Roy Moore case. There is an actual photo of this, and Al Franken is not even disputing it, really.
No.
Now, Tweeden is a former fitness model, and can I just say, she is not the least attractive woman in the world. She's a beautiful woman. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But that doesn't mean that just because you're a progressive pervert, you get to go slam your tongue down her throat. So here's what she said. She tweeted this morning, I've decided it's time to tell my story. This was overseas. It was on a trip that they were doing to entertain the military. And Franken was there. And he wrote a script, a comedy script.
This is disturbing, folks.
He's a sick freak. That included him. I mean, think of like one of the best looking women you can find. And you're going to write a script that includes you sticking your tongue down her throat. What kind of sick freak does that?
You have to do it. It's in the script.
Yeah. And then he tried to force her to rehearse it. Of course, backstage. So here's what she said. And she wrote this on the KABC website. But you could also see it on The Politistic. And if you can't remember The Politistic, go to thelibertydaily.com. You'll find it there. On the day of the show, Frank and I were alone backstage going over our lines one last time. He said to me, quote, "We need to rehearse the kiss." I laughed and ignored him. Then he said it again. I said something like, "Relax, Al, this isn't SNL. We don't need to rehearse this." But he persisted, you see.
Of course. He persisted.
He persisted. He continued to insist, I'm reading, and I was beginning to get uncomfortable. He repeated that actors really need to rehearse everything. She's not an actress or an actor, okay? Let's just say that for the record. So there's a problem right there. And that we must, and she put it in italics for emphasis, practice the kiss. And she said, I said, okay, so he would stop badgering me. So this is a man who does not know the meaning of no. Now, weren't we all taught...
Or doesn't care.
What? Yeah. As we're all taught, as a gentleman, when a woman says no, you stop. Isn't that right?
No means no.
But not if you're a progressive. You know why you're always progressing? Because you're a pervert.
Because you think you know best.
Right. He repeated that. Oh, I read that part. Okay, here's the gross part. And if you need to plug your ears, or if you need to get a strong drink, now would be a good time to do it. We did the line leading up to the kiss, and then he came at me, put his hand on the back of my head, mashed his lips against mine, and aggressively stuck his tongue down my throat.
Gross.
It's a sick
Horrible.
freak.
Sick freak.
I immediately pushed him away with both of my hands against his chest and told him if he ever did that to me again, I wouldn't be so nice about it next time. I walked away. All I could think about was getting to a bathroom as fast as possible to rinse a taste of him out of my mouth. Oh my God! And she goes on to say, I felt disgusted and violated. You know what? I feel disgusted and violated.
Just reading it. As well she should.
Oh my God. And then when they did the skit afterwards, she turned her head at the time of the kiss so she wouldn't have to get his gross germs again. Ugh. Absolutely sick. Now, Al Franken, he is considered a top 2020 presidential candidate.
And that ain't no joke, folks.
For the Democrats. So this is the leader of the Democrat Party. He's a top leader.
Right, and I saw that there were some, liberals on TV that were writing it off of, but he was just a comedian, so... sexual assault is okay if you're just a comedian. Yeah,
because it's a joking matter. So obviously, different rules, different rules here, and you have jumping ahead, Establishment Rhino Surrender Caucus leader Mitch McConnell.
Obama's Mitch.
Remember the conga line of Rhino relics that ran to the microphones on an allegation against Judge Roy Moore.
Yes, within what?
The seriousness of the charge alone is enough to cause him to step out of the race. Right. There's not one of those calling for Al Franken, a freaking leftist commie pinko Democrat, to get out of the race. And there's a picture of him doing it.
And what, didn't they rush the microphones like an hour?
Within seconds.
An hour or so after the Washington
It was immediate. It was immediate. It was a conga line. They were just lined up. Boom, boom, boom. The accusations are serious. The seriousness alone.
The allegations are serious enough.
It doesn't. John Latrine. John Latrine. It doesn't matter if they're true or not. He must burn on the cross. I mean, this is it. And it's got nothing to do with the allegations against Roy Moore. Even Bob Corker said he was disqualified even before the allegations. So they don't care whether they're true or not. They couldn't give a rip. And there's going to be more on that here in just a little bit. And let me put it this way. Roy Moore, he is going to beat the hell out of Mitch. I want to see it. I want to see it on the Senate floor. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But you know what? As bad as it was, progressive pervert, progressive predator, Al Franken, he didn't stop there. He continued to insult her, continued to harass her. They had to sit there and sign autographs next to each other. I mean, she really, took one for the team there. And she had to sign next to him with a smile on her face while all this was going on. And he was harassing her. He'd take a picture of her and draw devil's horns on it.
What?
Yes.
That he gave to someone else.
I don't know what he did with them, but she would look over and see him doing it. So
he has a pattern. There's a pattern because there was a massive sexual harassment of another woman.
Well, let's hear about that.
Yeah. So there's this site, Media Equalizer. This woman named Melanie Morgan said she completely believes this Leanne Tweeten because Al Franken harassed her too. So she said she's an LA radio host, LA radio news anchor, and she said that Franken sexually assaulted her.
I've heard of her.
So Melanie Morgan, she said she had a disturbing encounter sparked by daring to disagree with Franken during an August 2000 edition of ABC's Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, far-left loon Bill Maher.
I'm shocked there's not some stuff that's came out about him. Get ready.
So she said, let me scroll down so I can get what she said. So Morgan said she was joined by Franken, William Baldwin, and then Colorado Lieutenant Governor Joe Rogers on a panel. She and Franken had a dispute over OMB Office of something budget. What's OMB, honey?
Oh.
The budget.
Office
budget
of
numbers.
Management budget or something.
She said, I was invited and unaware of who the guests were going to be that night. So he made a statement about the budget numbers. She challenged him. He challenged her. She made a statement about the budget numbers. He challenged her. She challenged him back. It was about spending priorities. After just a mundane discussion, but he obsessed over it. He approached her backstage, angrily called her out on the numbers, and insisted he would prove her right. He wouldn't leave her alone. He kept following her. She said, as a woman, his presence and proximity to me felt threatening and intimidating. I didn't realize his creepy behavior after the show meant it would continue in the days to come. He got the producer of the show to give him her home phone number, which was a clear violation of network protocol. She thought it was the end of the story, so suddenly he started calling her at home.
So he's another one of these damn
repeatedly
progressive scumbags that can't admit when they're wrong. He's a damn know-it-all.
Or just accept someone else's opinions. She said she became fearful and called the producer to complain and asked him to back off. And he made another call after that. She thought he would end up stalking her at a Northern California home. But the third call, she was outraged and terrified. As she said, he was clearly disturbed. He didn't stop harassing her until she threatened to call the police and make a report. She said, I never forgot that experience and informed me of his lack of character and an obsessive personality. I believe every word Leanne wrote.
And it goes to show a lot of these people, if not most, if not all, I won't say all, because that's not the case, but I would venture to say a majority of these people that go to Washington, D.C. are sociopaths. And that's exactly what he is. He needs to be put in a padded cell somewhere. So here was his response. Here was his response. He said, I certainly don't remember the rehearsal for the skit in the same way. This is Leanne tweeting. In other words, the part where he shoved his tongue down her throat. But I send my sincerest apologies to Leanne, Franken said in a statement. As to the photo, it was clearly intended to be funny, but wasn't. I shouldn't have done it. So he's calling her a liar.
Yeah, so funny at the expense of groping and assaulting another woman.
He found that humorous. Yeah.
He found that humorous. Found a defenseless woman who was asleep.
Right.
It to be humorous to grope and fondle her.
Right. So he said, I don't remember it the same way. Dude, here's the difference. She's credible. And you're not. You're a progressive clown. She's got a picture of you being a pervert. You don't have any evidence. And we've always been told by the progressive leftist Democrats, you always believe the woman.
Right.
Always. Right. It doesn't matter if you have proof.
Unless they're victims of Bill Clinton.
Then you don't.
Then you don't.
Or Al Franken. Then you don't. If it's a progressive, if it's a rapist like Bill Clinton, you don't believe that. Until they're out of the public eye 25 years later, then you can start believing them. After it's too damn late, right?
Right.
Here's what she said about that. Leanne Tweeden, the victim number one. You knew, this is directly to Al Sharpton. By the way, in another interview today, I'm not sure if it was on Anderson Cooper or MSNBC, she actually said he had lips like a frog.
Ugh.
So, frog lips. So, we've been putting on the Liberty Daily, we believe in truth and labeling.
Mm-hmm.
We've been calling him Al Frog Lips Franken. And if you look at the headline of the Liberty Daily right now, which is at 8 o'clock here in Arizona time, you will see a picture of him he looks very much like a frog. But she said, you knew exactly what you were doing. You forcibly kissed me without my consent, grabbed my breast while I was sleeping, in italics, and had someone take a photo of you doing it, knowing I would see it later and be ashamed. He sent the photo back with her, knowing that she would be looking at it after she got back,
right,
thinking, oh, I sure got the last thing on her, What a bun of a sitch. So then, he said, she said, I felt violated all over again, embarrassed, belittled, humiliated. How dare anyone grab my breast like this and think it's funny? So then Franken issued a second explanation. Now, here's the way it works in politics. If you have to explain, you're losing the argument, right? Like
Right.
if you don't, if your mea culpa the first time didn't work and you have to do it a second time, you're done. Mm-hmm. You've lost. And he issued this long statement, and it's just full of BS. Now listen to this, and you tell me. He goes, quote, "I respect women. I don't respect men who don't." So he doesn't respect himself. He's the one that's disrespectful for women, and he says
double speak.
And he's like George Orwell in 1984.
Ridiculous.
Up is down, left is right, plus is minus, tall is short, big is small. So he goes, "I respect women. I don't respect men who don't," which is him. "And the fact that my own actions have given people a good reason to doubt that makes me feel ashamed." Well, why would it make you feel ashamed? Because you said you have a different recollection of it.
Basically said she's lying.
Yeah, you called her a liar. You're basically doing a sophisticated version of Bill and Hillary's Nuts and Sluts campaign.
Right?
Okay, now here's the kicker. And I don't know I can find this in the statement here. But he said he would gladly submit to an investigation of himself.
That's so stupid.
Listen to this. Quote, "I am asking that an ethics investigation be undertaken,
Good night.
and I will gladly cooperate." What is there to investigate? There's a picture. Are you alleging the picture is false?
Right.
Because you didn't say that.
It's so ridiculous.
Are you saying the picture's not real?
He's just trying to come across as the bigger man. I'm open to an investigation.
That's like saying, hey, IRS, would you come audit me? There's nothing to audit. You're caught, and you admitted the picture is real. You said, I was just trying to be funny in the picture. You're not saying the picture's not real. Right?
Right.
So then Democrats are doing what Democrats do. They're absolutely lying, thieving. I can't think of all the words. But here's fellow Marxist Elizabeth Warren. Now you have to understand, there is in the Republican Party, there's the rhinos, the establishment rhinos, the K Street whores, the John McCains, the Mitch McConnells of the world. There's, the Tea Party conservatives, the Mike constitutional conservatives. There's the Mike Lees, the Ted Cruzes, maybe the Rand Pauls, and in Congress, you have Louis Gohmert, people like that, the Freedom Caucus people. But in the Democrat Party, you have factions too. And Elizabeth Warren and Al Franken, they're in the Karl Marx wing,
right?
They're there with Uncle Bernie, Bolshevik Bernie, Soviet-style socialist Bernie, and they're the communist wing. And we know communists. This is why they call themselves comrades. They stick together. And so Elizabeth Warren, who, all the way is saying, Roy Moore, he must burn in hell. I'm exaggerating to prove a point here. It's called hyperbole. She's saying Al Franken's alleged behavior is unacceptable and deeply disappointing. Are you calling for his resignation?
Disappointing.
Disappointed. I'm saddened. Get the hell out. If that was a Republican, they would be calling for his resignation
right now.
So quick, it would cause your freaking head to spin around. Unfreaking real. The behavior reported today is unacceptable and deeply disappointing.
Disappointing.
Warren said in a statement. Yeah, you know what? You are a fraud. You're a fraud on so many levels. She's not even a good Marxist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. None of these people live the lifestyles that they want everybody else to live.
Right.
Where everybody is equally poor eating dog food. None of them do. But old Al Franken, old Frog Lips, The reason why he wants a Senate ethics investigation against him is because it'll just draw it out and everyone will forget about it and they'll go nowhere.
Right.
It'll take a year. It'll go into this bureaucratic black hole and nothing will happen. And then he'll come back. He'll say he went to some treatment facility with Harvey Weinstein.
I went on a vacation in the desert for $30,000. Now, I mean treatment.
Right. You know, and then it'll all be good. And then here's what they'll do. Then when you try to bring it up a year from now, you know what they'll say? Oh, that's old news.
That's old news.
That's old.
Water under the bridge.
That's old news. Of course, something that somebody's accusing Roy Moore of doing 40 freaking years ago with Gloria Allred, that's not old news.
Right. And remember, it wasn't too long ago that the left was mocking, attacking, insulting, belittling Mike Pence because he has had a rule his entire life that he would not be alone with any other woman. He will not dine alone with a woman. He will not have a meeting in his office alone with any woman, period, out of respect for his wife. He just, and to not open himself up to any, charges. He wouldn't do it. And the left had a field day with mocking him.
I mean, my pastor used to tell me that 20 years ago and had a personal policy of that. I'm never alone with another woman one-on-one. Because we're all human beings. We all have, urges. None of us are perfect. And stuff can go wrong. Stuff can happen.
Or someone could accuse you of something that wasn't true.
Or somebody could do something to you that you don't want to do. As in the case of progressive predator Al Franken, right?
Right.
So speaking of Roy Moore, he stuck it to old Mitch today. He tweeted, what is this? Oh, it just went away.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you who needs to step down. That's Mitch McConnell. We got another fighter on our hands. Okay, but listen to this. This is what's great. Roy Moore tweets this. We might have another epic Twitter account in Washington, D.C. This is Judge Roy Moore at Moore Senate. Al Franken admits guilt after photographic evidence of his abuse services.
Yeah.
Mitch, quote, let's investigate. And then in Alabama, zero, in all caps, evidence. Allegations 100% rejected. Mitch, quote, Moore must resign immediately or be expelled. So that goes to show you.
Yeah.
The different if you're a Christian conservative, if you're a God-fearing man who believes in the Constitution, they will do everything to destroy you. If you're a God-hating Marxist like Elizabeth Warren or Al Franken or Bernie Sanders that hate this country and everything it stands for, hates the Constitution, hates freedom, and kisses Karl Marx's ass every night before they go to bed, you can get away with anything. And Mitch McConnell doesn't care.
Nope.
He never called for Al Franken to step down. Why is that?
Why is that?
We know why it is. The Republicans don't have a majority. They have a fake majority.
Right.
There's not going to be a majority until we have 51 conservatives. And we don't have 51 conservatives. We got about 3, 4, or 5 conservatives. And we got the rest of them rhino squishes that either will not fight for conservative issues other than during a primary or an election year, or they will vote with the Democrats, as in the case of McConnell, McCain, Lindsey Graham, etc. And speaking of Lindsey Graham, he had a quote, I believe this was last night, and he said, well, if Judge Moore... can I talk like Lindsey? I can't. He's a little bit on the lightweight side, but Lindsey Graham said basically, I don't have the quote up, but if Roy Moore wasn't allowed in a shopping mall, he shouldn't be allowed in the Senate. Because there's been this fake news narrative going around that said Roy Moore was such a lech in the 70s that he was banned by a shopping mall.
And news media has been reporting this as if it is fact. Calling it a rumor. There's been a rumor, but then reporting it, saying it over and over again. Why?
Yeah.
Just to get the narrative out there that, like, it is an absolute fact. Were you going to bring up the mall manager?
So that's what's segueing to the mall manager. Came out. They interviewed him, and of course you're not going to see this anywhere on CNN or anywhere. It was on one of the local stations, and he said, and this guy was the manager there for several years, and he goes, no, he was not banned. I don't know where they're getting this stuff. So that is fake news.
Yep.
That is
Won't stop
fake
them
news.
but now, CNN and MSNBC might stop saying it now, but that's not going to stop it from going around social media. That's not going to stop memes from going around saying it. It's not going to stop his opponent from using it in ads. It's not going to stop Elizabeth Warren and the likes of her from saying it and not be challenged, because they said it as truth, even though it wasn't, to do damage.
Right. And what they do is they get the answer they want and they stop digging. That's the way the leftist media does it. And so there was no banning. That is a false narrative. It's fake news, as President Trump might say or would say. And I wish he would say it. He's not supporting Judge Roy Moore. He's not speaking out against Judge Roy Moore. He's basically running and hiding on this issue. So our president that we thought, would be a fighter. Some people thought he would be a fighter for conservatives, which was really naive. He is not fighting for Judge Roy Moore. I mean, pretty much the only people fighting for Judge Roy Moore, I hate to say this, like Breitbart News and Steve Bannon and us and Christian conservatives. But Judge Roy Moore, he gave, and I'm not gonna play all this here, but I'm gonna play a couple minutes of it. He gave a speech today in which he said, I almost said Michelle, same difference. Mm-hmm. Mitch McConnell and his cronies are trying to steal this election. And let's play a little bit of it here. And there's just a little bit of the intro.
Make sure your sound's on and turns off.
I just want to say, Judge Moore, thank you. Thank you for your stand. Thank you for being unwavering. Thank you for being the man of character that we dream. You're the candidate we dream of. Every election, we have someone that, you know how it is. In the election, they tell you, I believe like you, and I stand for your principles. And then they get elected, and they forget why they're there. If there was ever a man who would not do that, it is you.
Does that sound like a woman that's wavering to you?
And we just want to say thank you. We stand with you. And if you'd like to say a few words, we'd be honored to have you do so.
Thank you very much, Janet. It's indeed an honor when I look at this group of people behind me. I won't repeat their names, but I've known many of them through the years, some 10 years ago, some 20, some 30, and some 40, but some 40 are gone. Many of them have lost their jobs, they've lost their positions, they've suffered imprisonment, jail time, they've been fined, they've suffered persecution, and some are gone, like Mr. Shifley, who I dearly loved and respect her. But they all have one thing in common, which reminds me of a story. When I first got into politics, they said...
He's going to tell a little joke here that's kind of funny. It's a little bit long, but just bear with me. It's kind of cute.
In the court system, they said 3 things you have to have for being a good candidate. That's honesty, dedication, and experience. So I went to a seasoned old judge and told him that. He said, Roy, that's not really correct. He says, you don't need honesty, dedication, and experience. What you need to do is have eyeglasses. It shows people that you study a lot and read a lot. And I've come to where I have to have glasses when close range now. He says the next thing is you have to have graying hair or thinning hair. Well, as you can see, mine's been going for a while. And he said you have to have that to show your age. You have to be studied and be of an age proper.
Okay, I think here's the punchline. Pretty cute.
And then he said, then you have to have one other thing. I said, what's that, Judge? He said, you have to have hemorrhoids. And I said, Judge, I don't understand that. I don't have hemorrhoids. He said, well, you have to have hemorrhoids. And I said, why? He said, well, it gives you a concerned look.
So we know who has that concerned look and who must be using Preparation H on a nightly basis, and that is Rhino Surrender Caucus leader, the establishment swamp leader, Mitch McConnell.
I think the one thing that drives these people to come from places all across our country, from California and Texas and Ohio and Maryland and Pennsylvania, New York, Florida, Illinois, the one thing we have in common is a concern for our country and concern for our future. I want to thank every one of them individually. It's been a great honor. It's been a great encouragement to hear them. They know what they're talking about, I think. They know that this country faces rough times ahead if we don't go back to the one upon whom it is founded. I thank all of you who have come to support me in this campaign. I sincerely appreciate your support and look forward to serving the United States Senate. One thing I would like to see happen in our country is unity. I said I wanted to see unity. I never dreamed that I would succeed even before I got elected. But I have unified the Democrats and the Republicans in fighting against me because they don't want me there.
Okay, now that's pretty funny right there. He has been a unifying force if you think about it, because you got the establishment in both parties that don't want him. They don't want anybody there to rock the boat. That's the thing about Washington, D.C. They have this, cabal going on, this gravy train going on, this tax-funded utopia back there in Washington, D.C., where the ruling class lives like kings and queens, and everyone else in the country's out here struggling.
As you know, the Washington Post has brought some scurrilous, false allegations, which I have emphatically denied time and time again. They're not only untrue, but they have no evidence to support them. Two of the speakers up here said words that I caught. One said unsubstantiated, and another said unproven. Another said they were fake. All of that is true. And the Washington Post is certainly not evidence. What I want to do in this campaign is very simple. Is get back to the issues which some are avoiding addressing. I haven't had one question from the press or the media about issues in this case since these allegations have occurred.
Isn't that something? So you don't have anybody saying, hey, Judge, how would you vote on Obamacare? Hey, Judge, they don't even ask. I think they would know the answer to this. Would you vote for Mitch McConnell to be Senate Majority Leader? I'm pretty sure we know what the answer to that would be. How would you be on the budget? Hey, Judge, what kind of tax code would you like to see? Because reporters don't want to see that. What they want to do is destroy this man. That's what they want. You have a politically orchestrated character assassination job orchestrated by Mitch McConnell and the Democrat media complex 30 days before an election from 40 years ago.
Right.
Knowing there's not enough time to disprove allegations from 40 years ago. It's not like you can go into some Back to the Future time machine and say, on June 9th, 1977, I was, here, and she said it here, and I wasn't there, and here's my witness. You can't do any of that, and that's why they pull this crap.
What is important is how we address the future of this country. About cutting taxes, rebuilding our military, repealing Obamacare, and putting good judges and justices on the federal and Supreme Court of the United States. We've got to stop judicial supremacy, or we're losing our form of government.
And that's a good phrase right there. That's good terminology. Judicial supremacy. All these unelected black-robed goons that think there are rulers, that they think they can make laws and pass laws because they've got lifelong appointments and zero accountability.
Many of you have recognized that this is an effort by Mitch McConnell and his cronies to steal this election from the people of Alabama.
That's right.
And they will not stand for it. They overcame $30 million and voted me in the primary. And now they're trying a different tactic.
That's exactly right. McConnell and his cronies spent $30 million unprecedented in a Republican primary. Not to defeat a Democrat, but to defeat a Christian conservative constitutionalist.
They even, the other day we got a call from one big magazine that you all recognize if I say the name. I don't want to say it. But they got a call and said, asked me to step down from the campaign. Well, I want to tell you who needs to step down. That's Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, baby.
There's been comments about me taking a stand. Yes, I have taken a stand in the past. I'll take a stand in the future. And I'll quit standing when they lay me in that box and put me in the ground.
There you go. So that is why they don't want him in Washington, D.C., right? He's not a mushmouth. He's not a wallflower. He's not going to be a stooge like Luther the Strange. He's not going to be Mitch McConnell's butt boy. In fact, he'll fight to get Mitch McConnell out of there. And that's why you have McConnell doing this orchestrated hit job against him. And, you know, Steve Bannon is an enemy of McConnell. Steve Bannon is supporting Roy Moore, so there's all that personal vendetta going on. And I tell you what, he's not backing down. I'm just telling you. Mitch McConnell, he's not backing down. You might as well retire and go spend time with your grandkids. I'm assuming you were able to produce at some point, and you have that sort of thing. I hope you do. Have a great rest of your life. Maybe you can have some Kentucky whiskey with John Boner. I hear he likes it too, and you guys are both rhinos. You can yuck it up about the good old times and slap your knees and all that kind of thing. But Roy Moore is a fighter, a conservative fighter. And that's why the press and the establishment in both parties do not want him. And, of course, the press, you know whose side they're on. Satan's. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Burke Brigade, brought to you by the Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Go to thelibertydaily.com, thelibertydaily.com. You will freaking love it. You will love it so much, you'll get on social media and tell everybody about thelibertydaily.com. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless America.